In the dense jungles of Guyana, over 900 people willingly drank cyanide-laced punch. In a California mansion, 39 individuals, clad in matching tracksuits and Nike sneakers, followed their leader into what they believed was the next evolutionary level. These are not scenes from a horror movie. They are the chilling realities of Jonestown and Heaven's Gate, two of the most infamous cults in modern history. Their stories are haunting reminders of the power of manipulation. But while these events seem like relics of a bygone era, the forces that created them are more alive than ever. Cults haven't disappeared. They've just adapted to a new landscape. The question we must ask ourselves is not just why cults existed, but why they still exist today. To understand the enduring appeal of cults, we must first define what they are. It's a term we use loosely, but at its core, a cult is a system of control built around a single charismatic leader. This leader claims to possess a special knowledge or divine insight that sets them apart. Think of Jim Jones, the magnetic preacher who led his followers to their doom in Jonestown, or Marshall Applewhite, the soft-spoken visionary of Heaven's Gate. These figures offer their followers a sense of purpose, an answer to life's biggest questions, and a community to belong to. The structure of a cult typically involves a rigid hierarchy with the leader at the top, demanding unquestioning obedience. They create an us versus them mentality, isolating members from the outside world, from friends, family, and any information that might challenge the group's beliefs. This isolation is a key psychological tool. When you're cut off from external reference points, the leader's voice becomes the only one you hear, their reality the only one you know. This isn't about weak-minded people. It's about a systematic process of breaking down an individual's identity and rebuilding it in the image of the group. The recruitment process often begins with a technique known as love bombing. Imagine you're feeling lost, lonely, or disillusioned with the world. Suddenly, you encounter a group of people who shower you with affection, praise, and a profound sense of belonging. They tell you that you are special, that you've finally found your true family. This intense validation feels intoxicating. It lowers your defenses and makes you receptive to the group's ideas. This was a hallmark of NXIVM, a supposed self-help organization that was later exposed as a coercive cult. New members were welcomed with open arms, made to feel seen and understood, all while being slowly drawn into a web of psychological and emotional control. Once a person is inside, the manipulation deepens. Fear becomes a powerful motivator. Cults often preach an apocalyptic worldview, warning that the outside world is corrupt, dangerous, or doomed. The only path to salvation, they claim, is through strict adherence to the group's rules. This creates a constant state of anxiety, where leaving the group feels like a terrifying, life-threatening risk. Members are taught to fear not just the outside world, but also their own doubts. Questioning the leader is framed as a personal or spiritual failing, leading to intense guilt and self-censorship. The tragic end of Jonestown in 1978 is a stark example of this progression. What began as a utopian community promising racial equality and social justice devolved into a paranoid, isolated camp. Jim Jones controlled every aspect of his followers' lives, from their relationships to their daily routines. Through a combination of love, fear, and relentless indoctrination, he convinced them that mass suicide was a revolutionary act of protest. They weren't just drinking poison. In their minds, they were making a final, defiant statement against a world that had rejected them. Similarly, the members of Heaven's Gate believed that their physical bodies were mere vehicles, and that by shedding them, their souls would ascend to a spacecraft trailing the Hale-Bopp comet. Marshall Applewhite had systematically dismantled their connections to their past lives, their families, and their own sense of self. They were no longer individuals, but a collective consciousness with a shared, fantastical goal. Their final videotaped messages are eerily calm, filled with a sense of peaceful anticipation. They truly believed they were heading to a better place. These stories might seem extreme, products of a pre-internet age. But the core mechanics of cults, charismatic leaders, love bombing, isolation, and control, have found a fertile new ground: social media. Today we're witnessing the rise of what some call digital cults, or soft cults. These aren't isolated communes in the jungle, but sprawling online networks. The charismatic leader is no longer a preacher on a podium, but a wellness guru on Instagram, a controversial influencer on YouTube, or a self-proclaimed financial genius on TikTok. These online figures build intensely loyal followings by offering simple solutions to complex problems. They promise health, wealth, spiritual enlightenment, or simply a community for the disenfranchised. Their followers aren't physically isolated, but they are algorithmically isolated. Social media platforms are designed to show us more of what we already like. If you start following a particular influencer, the algorithm will feed you a steady stream of their content, along with content from similar creators. Dissenting opinions are pushed to the margins. Your feed becomes an echo chamber, reinforcing the leader's worldview and creating a powerful digital us versus them dynamic. The love bombing is digital too. It's the constant stream of positive comments, the feeling of being part of an exclusive online tribe, and the direct, personal-seeming interactions with the leader through live streams and DMs. Followers feel a deep parasocial connection, believing they have a genuine relationship with a person they've never met. This makes them fiercely protective of the leader and hostile to any criticism. We see this in the fan bases of certain online personalities where any journalist or creator who questions their idol is met with a coordinated campaign of digital harassment. The control is more subtle but just as effective. It's the pressure to adopt specific jargon, to buy the leader's merchandise or online courses, and to alienate anyone who doesn't get it. The fear is not of a physical apocalypse, but of a social one. The fear of being cast out of the online community, of losing the identity and belonging that it provides. The message is clear. If you want to stay in this enlightened circle, you must conform. So, how do we protect ourselves in this new landscape? The first step is to recognize the warning signs. Be wary of any leader who claims to have all the answers and who discourages questions or dissent. Pay attention to high-pressure tactics that demand immediate, life-altering commitments. Notice if a group tries to isolate you from your friends and family or labels all outside criticism as an attack from haters or the unenlightened. A healthy community, whether spiritual, social, or professional, welcomes critical thinking and respects individual autonomy. A controlling one demands absolute faith. A common saying warns, the most dangerous cult is the one you don't realize you're in. Ultimately, the human needs that cults exploit, the need for community, for purpose, for certainty in an uncertain world, are universal. They are part of what makes us human. As long as these needs exist, there will be those who seek to manipulate them for their own power and gain. From Jonestown to the influencer-led movements of today, the methods have evolved, but the underlying psychology remains the same. The jungle has been replaced by the digital feed, the communal sermons by live streams, and the poison-laced punch by ideological purity tests. Cults never disappeared, they just changed their hashtags. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into a complex and often disturbing topic. If you found this investigation insightful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content that questions the world around us. Stay curious and stay safe.